All right, all show, we're going to be taking a look at the best of the best funds, sectors, stocks, and don't forget that secret country, all of which have put up stellar performances so far this year. We're going to explore the lessons learned in this volatile market as we help you get your portfolio on track for the fourth quarter. All right, so far this year, one spot dominates the charts. We're going to reveal that in our second half hour, but nestled ever so quietly among the winners is the diversified CGM Focus Fund, 5-star Morningstar rated fund, up 60% so far this year. Kenneth Heebner is portfolio manager of CGM Focus Fund. He joins us to tell us how he got there. And, you know, Ken, you and I have been speaking throughout the year, and I know you've made some big bets. At one point it was brokers. You had some real estate plays. If you had to say the 62% is due to X, what's X?
Oh, it's fertilizer, oil service, and commodities. The biggest winner in the fund this year is a company called Potash of Saskatchewan. It's up 100%.
What's it called again?
Potash Corp of Saskatchewan. Not a household name. Their big products are phosphate and potash. And with record grain prices and farmers planting more acreage and having big incomes so that they can afford a lot more fertilizer, the price of fertilizer is up a lot. And this is the leading company in the business, and they're doing very well.
You still making the same bets when you look at fertilizer commodities?
Well, we continue to hold it. You know, we always make changes when things change, but right now we still like it. Another stock that's been a big winner is VimpelCom, the leading cellular company in Russia. Now, Russia is a controversial place from an investment point of view. Mr. Putin is controversial. But within Russia, companies that are on good terms with Putin do really well. They don't have to worry about new competitors coming in. And two companies basically dominate this market. Their earnings are growing over 50%. And that stock's up over 70% year to date. So there have been a lot of winners out here in the global economy. There have been a lot of potholes as well. But if you're too negative, you don't capture the opportunities.
Who is Potash selling the fertilizer to?
Well, we export it to China, to India, and to our own farmers.
Okay, and you anticipate no slackening of demand in that area. That's clear. How do you feel about the energy sector?
I'm positive on energy. I think that what people aren't paying enough attention to is the decline in the major oil fields in the world. The North Sea has been declining for several years. The Cantarell field, the global supply-demand balance is 86 million barrels a day of oil. And so the Cantarell field in Mexico, which had been producing 2 million barrels a day, is now going into sharp decline. I believe that the major Ghawar oil field, 4.5 million barrels a day, is now in a big decline. The CEO of Baker Hughes said that he believed that the decline was 4 to 5% annually. I've heard higher numbers from other people. So what's happening is, in the emerging countries where there's strong growth in oil consumption, it's driving global demand up 1 or 2% annually. But when you take these major fields into decline, the smaller fields we're bringing on can't really make it up. So the upward pressure on the price remains. So I'm looking for companies that benefit from elevated and rising oil prices.
Ken, it's David Faber. A great deal of discussion in the last few weeks about a housing-led recession. You're not a believer. Why not?
I'm not, because I think that although it's a narrow sector, look, globally, the U.S. housing market's not that important. I think it may flatten out our retail sales, and our economy may go sideways. But I don't think that's going to derail this global economy, because this global economy is driven by growing consumer demand in countries like India and China and the countries in the Middle East, which are benefiting from high oil prices. And, for instance, Brazil is benefiting from the agricultural boom. So for the first time in modern history, the American economy, the American consumer is not the driver. Obviously, if we had a complete depression in our country, it would have an impact. But a slowdown, a flattening out of our economic profile is not going to derail this global economy, in my judgment.
Does that lead you to invest in foreign stocks, non-dollar denominated assets?
Selectively, the areas I like are the stocks that are driven by rising industrial raw materials prices. And we do have the Russian cellular company VimpelCom. But I look for where the strongest growth is. But the biggest sector of my portfolio is energy. Oil service is a major sector of my portfolio. A company like Schlumberger, where the earnings grew 40% last quarter and will probably grow 30% plus. If you can buy a company like that at 20 times earnings, a 30% premium to the market, that's a bargain. I know other people will say, well, if it's up 70%, it's too high. I say, at a small premium to the market, probably the greatest global growth stock there is deeply undervalued. It should sell at twice the market multiple. I think you're going to see people, the world has gotten very skeptical. A lot of the investment leaders are investing in alternative hard assets or long-short funds.
Ken, I'm sorry, we're out of time. We're short time.
Okay.
So thank you very much for your input, Ken Heebner.
Great to talk to you, Ken.